What's up YouTube, Duel here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you commentary from a live duel at Locals. On the right we have Crystal Beast, and on the left we have Red Eyes Black Dragon, with a very minor dragon-esque link element. So we start off with Pot of Prosperity. Now keeping in mind that both these players are not relatively new to the game, but they're a little bit fresh to the tournament scene. On the right hand side with Crystal Beast, you will see a couple of random one-off power cards in the form of stuff like Pot of Prosperity, Kashtira Fenrir, and so forth. And these are basically just because they've been able to pull them. It's been very, very good. So just keep that in mind as we go through the duel. And hopefully the idea behind this video is that there will be a learning experience that they can then watch back and go, okay, that's where I can play it a little bit differently. That's where I can play it a little bit better. Or just learning to play their cards correctly, that you'll see a little bit later on. So, of course, we started off with Pot of Prosperity, Special Summon down Fenrir. The reason they didn't search a second Fenrir is exactly as I just mentioned. They've literally pulled one Fenrir. So, and then, of course, Crystal Monster got hit with an Imperm, set one, pass over to our opponent. Now, the opponent is, initially when I was looking through this duel, just to see what I should title it, the first duel is literally just pure Red Eyes. Like, they end up getting two Red Eyes monsters on the board and everything. Obviously use Red Eyes Metal, link that off, going to Striker Dragon, all pretty straightforward and simple. And then in game two, you'll see that there'll be a little bit more Dragon Link-esque plays, but nothing too wild. Just because they utilize Red Eyes Insight, Red Eyes Fusion. So, I mean, yes, of course, your main target is to go into Dragoon, but who wouldn't? That card's just incredibly powerful. Anyway, so Strike Dragon, search out Boot Sector, search out Red Metal. Pretty straightforward and simple on that one. Going to be summoning down Red Metal, doing... Now, obviously, I would still class this as a Red Eyes combo until it becomes not a Red Eyes combo. Now, what I mean by that is technically all you've used is Black Metal turn into Striker Dragon. That's the only Dragon Link, so you got a 1-for-1 at that point. And then you're going into Red Eyes Flare, not Flare Metal. Red Eyes Metal to revive a dragon. So technically it's not a Dragon Link yet. I'm not sure if they actually end on spheres. I think they, believe it or not, actually use metal as a beat stick. The Fenrir is, they're just learning it, basically. Again, it's one of the ones where they've pulled a power card. Someone said to them, oh, it's a really good card, put it into your deck, kind of thing. And they haven't really thought about its applications. It's probably one of the positions where they probably should be trying to trade said Fenrir in order to increase their build consistency or you know, play as it is. So they've activated Metal. Metal is going to resolve to bring back Mini Dragon, and then we're going to get hit with the Fenrir to banish it, which, you know, pretty understandable on that one. Luckily, he has played around relinquish plays. Like, he's not been able to put anything in a zone that could be zapped up by a relinquish, which is really kind of cool. And that just depends on how far we can go. So opened up quick launch. So that's going to be able to unlock all of the rocket plays. Technically a synchro level 8 route, which is going to be very important if they wanted to go down that play. So that could become Savage Dragon and everything else. Now I suppose you're falling within the... What is that? I think I've bit one... Oh yeah, definitely done 5 times. I'm trying to feel what rocket monster that is. What the heck is that? I know it exists, and obviously this is another prime example of not knowing what your actual cards do, is he hasn't tributed his own monsters for Nibiru, so that's something to keep in mind. There's a note that if they are watching this back, Nibiru tributes your stuff. The only thing Nibiru doesn't tribute is face down monsters, which is a massive, massively important note. Just going to try and find out what that rocket monster was. I know, I've seen it once before. There it is, Exploder Rocket Dragon. When a link monster's effect is activated that targets this face up, I suppose it's Red Eyes. Would Red Eyes Rocket be considered more? Because there's no, like, they don't play the Chaos Beasts from what I've seen. So, bit of everything. Is that Red Eyes? I swear Red Eyes Metal is once per turn. This is why you have the like Google to your side when you're like, what's going on? But that's the new Red Eyes card. Red Eyes, it's not Insight, but it's Red Eyes something. I'm getting there. Come on. So we're trying to Red Eyes Flare Metal. How'd it? Multitasking. This is why you get like, you have a team with a database on it. That's not in English, I can't read that. Though we do need a reprint of it. Black Metal Dragon, we definitely need a reprint. Target Red Eyes Control. Oh my god, I can't believe it's not a once per turn. I suppose the reason you only ever see it used once per turn when you're facing obviously the more meta version of this in the form of Dragon Link is because they only ever really play one Red Eyes target. So we still had the ability to get a Red Eyes to the graveyard, summon it down. We've got Boot Sector Launch. Our opponent still controls one more monster than we do, so we can add back to that. I feel that again, this just kind of shows a little bit of inexperienced on the Crystal Beast side when they're with the newer cards because you're activating. Oh my god, they open up Dragon's Revival as well. Lol. Oh, that's why they play that Exploder Rocket, because it's a level 7. Nice. Okay, so they're definitely leaning into the Red Eyes factor a little bit more. No way. Did we just... What? Are we making Red Eyes Flare with 3 level 7s? No way. Is it 2 or more? Again, these are all rare circumstances. You're never going to be like, oh, I'm going to make it with 3 material because I can. No, it's 2. It's 2. Maybe that's not Red Eyes Flare. I can't see what it is from here. What is that? Okay, I definitely don't think it's Red Eyes Flare. But he's killing all of the monsters. I don't know what that monster is. If anyone can enlighten me on that one. Oh dear, this is what happens when you don't have a bird's eye view of the game state. A rank 7 that can attack all monsters once each. Database, here we go. Rank 7. That can attack all. Sometimes Google is king. Has he just ranked that up as well? So, alright, so he's ranked up into Zeus. But I'm trying to figure out what they've made before that. Oh, maybe he didn't attack all the monsters each. Maybe he just attacked one so that he can make Zeus. Okay. Interesting. I'm not gonna... I was like, it's a rank 7 that can attack all monsters? That doesn't exist to my knowledge. Either way. Okay, so now we're facing down a Zeus with what? 2 materials? Still 2 materials? Yeah, still has 2 materials. So we've got Nibiru. It looks like there's a... not a Bonds. But there's the equip spell for the Crystal Beast and nothing else that's going to be helpful here. I mean, you kind of want to try... I would probably, and again, this is probably a little bit more experience, maybe set a card and you try and bait the Zeus out, because some people will get like a little bit cautious and Zeus in the end phase, which is fine, because obviously at the end of the day, if they can move into going for an OTK play, then they're not really going to worry. At the moment, there is 54 on board, because we've just got OG Red Eyes. It looks like that's all they've got, so 54 on board, attacking. I suppose this is... could Link Spider the Red Eyes off, so it's in graveyard, but I suppose it's not a massive issue, really. Oh, that's a hand trap. I bet that's like Ghost Ogre. I bet that is Ghost Ogre. Oh, it's the only way. I mean, you still die next turn if rare. I think it doesn't matter what attacks, really, does it? Oh, he's opened up another redstone. I really want to get redstones in secrets, but I'm so scared that it's going to get reprinted. I love the Rarity Collection too. I know they're already reprinting, and I think it's an alternate art for Dark Magician Girl. Toys. And Daddy's gone into game 2. Okay, game 2. So, what's happening here is Crystal Beast made Red Eyes go first. Very, very dangerous. Unless you start Red Eyes Fusion, and then it's GG, bruh. Yeah, I know Rarity Collection 2 is putting in Quarter Century Dark Magician Girl, and I think it's an alternative art. I'm not sure if they're then going to put in a Blue Eyes, a Dark Magician, and like some more of the classic cards, which would be good. But Red Eyes Insight into Red Eyes Fusion. Don't do it. If that's an Ash Splosh and you're tapping on, don't do it here. Again, this would just be like, you would know in it for experience, you'd be like, right, okay, Red Eyes Insight, 99.999% of the time leads to Red Eyes Fusion. Hold the Ash for that, because if they've hard opened a Red Eyes Fusion, you're in trouble. Red Eyes Fusion. Send in Red Eyes Black Dragon and Dark Magician. I mean, I still rate Dragoon as the best Dark Magician card we've ever had on a competitive standpoint. The issue is, it's the easiest to summon in Red Eyes, or you need Red Eyes Fusion, which technically isn't a Dark Magician card if you want it to be very specific. It's a Red Eyes card. So it's technically the best card that Red Eyes have ever received, because it's just the easiest to make in Red Eyes. I still want a Dark Magician fusion spell. Like, you look at all of the fusion spells that we get, right? And they're all relatively broken. Brownie Fusion, send from deck to graveyard, nice. Shaddoll Fusion, send from deck to graveyard if your opponent controls a extra deck monster, very nice. Dark World Accession, searchable, can allow you to discard or banish from the graveyard. So I would love something on that power level for Dark Magician. I want it to say Dark Magician in its name. I don't care that it needs specifically Dark Magician, but I want it to either lock you into spellcasters for the entire turn, not just after you play it, or I want it to have a very specific requirement so that it doesn't become oh, this card's broken, let's now all start putting 3 of this in our deck and playing the bricks of a Red Eyes and a Dark Magician. I want it to be, like, it needs to be specific for Dark Magician decks. It needs to be as, not restrictive. Heck, I wouldn't even mind a Red Eyes Fusion for Dark Magician, but again, the issue then becomes that if it sends from deck to the graveyard, you're in the same position of an Ash Blossom ends your turn if it doesn't let you normal set. But maybe it should just be, you cannot special summon monsters except spellcasters when you activate this card. So as long as they don't negate the activation, you're good to keep. Like, you can do whatever you want, but if they negate the activation, you're still good to keep playing. I suppose it then becomes generic for spellcaster decks, which at the moment I wouldn't say is that much of an issue, because I can't think of any direct spellcasters off the top of my head that are like Voice of Fairies and everything else. So I digress as Crystal Beast playoffs. So we've got Bonds. Don't know why they went for... Confusion as to why they went for the Rainbow Dragon esque, or like the Crystal Beast monster. Why would they not go for Pegasus? I mean, Dragoon's already negated something, so that's a good start. We're going to Bridge. Again, I think this is inexperienced of facing Dragoon. I honestly don't think there's any... Oh, no, there is. He sided in Lava Golems. Lol. But then, to be honest, if Dragoon just... If Red Eyes player just sat on Dragoon, there's no out in that entire Crystal Beast deck that I can think of, unless they sided in a Kaiju. But I personally would just sit on Dragoon, but then they don't know that they play Lava Golem, so it's all swings and roundabouts. I think, does Heart's not non-target bounce, is it? I don't think it is. Good old trusty Google. Crystal Beast Bridge. Da da da. Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. If it's non-target, I can't remember, but if it is non-target, that'd be funny. I'm pretty sure it's target. Destroy a Crystal Beast card you control, and if you do, add a Crystal Beast from deck. If a Crystal Beast card is placed, you play even during that target one card. No! Targets! No! Okay, well, is what it is. Why they got a target? So, Black Metal into Striker, and we're going to do standard combo, and he could try to Ash the Black Metal. I'm curious as to what the chain links were presented in that scenario, but I'm assuming it's I would assume Black Metal 1, but quite possibly in the scenario they did it the other way around. Which would be very, Very interesting. I mean, I wouldn't really want Boot Sector, especially, well, unless I've got a Hand of Rockets. If I've got a Hand of Rockets, and I suppose you're protecting that, then you are protecting the Black Metal search, because the Black Metal will technically net you 2 cards, whereas if you've got a Hand of Rockets, Boot Sector will get you OTK, basically. I suppose the other thing about not having a monster on the board is, I mean, I would have, I mean, you could have Dragoon negated the Ash, but just to put it up to 5k, but then if that back row, again, these are all hypotheticals. Remember, these players don't know each other's decks. They're not exactly conventional decks where you're like, okay, 99.999% of the deck list is going to be exactly the same for every single player. So you got to kind of keep that in mind. But if you had negated Ash, which would have been pretty funny, you would have a 5k Dragoon with a 1k Striker Dragon. So that's 6k on the board already. And then you would have got your Flare Metal, which would have finished the game off. So, Dragon's Ravine. Is that a Lava Golem in the... Oh my god, he actually drew the Lava Golem as well. That is so sad that his opponent left the Dragoon on the board. Oh, I mean, again, this is just inexperience. As you saw in round 1, like, imagine you've just sat down, and this is one of the first interactions with Red Eyes. You're not going to expect... I mean, you should expect Red Eyes Fusion into Dragoon, but if you've never researched the deck and you're like, Joey doesn't play Dark Magician, then you're going to be pleasantly surprised when that happens. So that's probably why you would put Lava Golem in, especially on the experience of the previous turn, where probably explains why they let Red Eyes go first, is you saw that they were building up a board, they did put on multiple monsters, and you're probably adding, going first, it'd probably be like stuff like 2 Red Eyes Flares or anything like that to constantly keep burning you. So just the Lava Golem your opponent would be quite ironically funny, because he's like, Red Eyes Flare is going to burn you, and you're like, ha, Lava Golem's going to burn you instead. But okay, so we're going Boot Sector. He did, like, relatively had a Hand of Rockets in the form of having Tracer and having Recharger on the board, or in the hand. So that's not so bad. Summoning them down. Going to lock himself in the darks if he uses the effect of Tracer. I mean, at this point, I think it's just overkill. Unless there's not... Actually, I don't think there's a link in the graveyard. I don't think there's a link in the graveyard. Asking for Nibiru. No, because then there's no need to... I suppose you just negate Nibiru, don't you? So you're playing around that turn. You learned that through game 1, that main deck of Nibiru is a thing. Interesting. Interesting. Oh well. So, popping the field spell makes sense. Going into Exploder Dragon, which also makes sense. And now we just need to get... I mean, if you get Red Eyes back to the graveyard, lol. So, trying to think what we've got here. Going to link to... It's a shame that both those level 4 rockets are in defense, because if they were in attack... Does Boot Sector summon in defense? Going into Romulus. We're going to try and Romulus for field spell? Or are we just using it... Just using it for a link zone? Oh, okay, we're just going Dragon Link combo. Yay. Fun in the sun. Triple Burst. And then we're going to use Pitsy's effect to bring back the Red Eyes Metal. I mean, it's a shame that it's gone this way. As much as you'd like to be a purist for certain decks, or you'd like to play only Red Eyes, you can't argue the aggressive consistency boost that playing cards like Dragon Link and Rockets and everything else gives you. So we've got Dragoon on 4k. I mean, it'd be such a waste to go into the Borrel and just makes no need. Okay, I think you're going battle phase, attack, game, GG. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.